Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks pregame podcast powered by ComEd. It's getting easier for your business to switch to electric vehicles. Learn more at ComEd.com/clean. Yes, that's ComEd.com/clean.
Oh, were we having that conversation? I missed it.
We were off the air.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I got a feeling we'll have that again. Don't worry.
Happy Friday. I have to check.
It is Friday.
It is the purgatory week. Actually, it's not. It's a new week. I shouldn't have the days by now.
No,
I call it
it's
purgatory week
Friday.
between like New Year and Christmas.
Oh, yeah. It's the fake work week.
I'm still not right about this.
It takes
very
some time.
Strange.
It's all right. It's Happy Gold Medal Day.
There we
this
go.
country.
Yeah.
That's right.
Not the rest of your country.
USA.
I pulled my single USA item out of my closet.
Nice.
I actually have the obvious shirt that says the British blew a 13-county lead, but it's not pertinent to hockey. So I'm wearing my U.S.
really.
women's
Only if we would
national
beat
team
England
hat.
today, yeah.
Your jersey is sweet, but that Greg's shirt is the
It's
winner.
hard to beat Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Hacksaw Jim Duggan with the American flag. And,
You got a red, white, and blue.
I'm a hockey bro because my hat's on backwards.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
upset about that.
I
I
am.
love it. It's so funny.
I got my red, white, and blue hot dog hat.
Is that the Phil Kessel line?
It's also it's Americana, and it's also
What team is that for?
it's from a minor league baseball team. I don't remember which one. I just bought it because it was red, white, and blue and it had a hot dog. I didn't
Yeah,
give a
there
you go.
shit what
Absolutely.
team it was
That is
for.
the-
when you
You're right,
find
that
your
is-
4th of July attire.
Yeah, 4th of July,
you jump
Memorial
on
Day,
it.
Gold Medal Day,
Mm-hmm.
any day, really. Arbor Day.
Yeah, Greg's mad at me because in our bro segment yesterday, to emphasize my point, I turned my hat around.
Yep, that was
Greg
not
always
cool.
wears his hat backwards.
Not cool.
But the difference is, I was wearing a trucker hat. Your hat is fitted,
It's
and it's
different,
part of
right.
your mystique. That's your brand.
Your mystique.
Whatever, man.
You have made it your own thing without being douchey.
It stung a little.
I'm sorry.
All right. we're
I
good.
don't think of you as a bro, for what it's worth.
I got a question after editing that thing. What does Ferda mean?
Ferda.
Go watch
For the boys.
For the boys.
For the
Go
boys.
watch
Ferda
Letterkenny.
Oh my
Ferda.
god.
Beers
Okay.
with the boys, Ferda.
Yeah,
Ferda.
Ferda.
It's like for the
For the.
I see. I hate
Yeah,
it. By
For
way.
the.
it's,
I don't like it.
Ferda.
It's a hockey Letterkenny thing.
Yes, exactly.
For the
your balls a
friends
tug.
Even
and
Joey
pals.
knew what that was.
Yeah.
Joey's younger than me.
Yes, Joey, a Letterkenny guy.
Must be.
I don't know.
Unless he thinks unless it means something else to
I
younger
feel like
generations.
that term has transcended Letterkenny into the lexicon of
Maybe
the youth.
Ferda means something different on the campus of University of Texas.
I don't know.
And,
That could be
They
true.
are drowning their sorrows.
yeah.
Hey, the Hawks and Devils are playing tonight, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Oh
that's why we're
sure.
here.
Yeah, I guess.
We're going to talk about it, I guess.
If they have.
Speaking of bros, the
if they have
huge
to.
bros are
The
probably
huge
going to
bros.
put
Yeah.
up about 8 points combined tonight.
It's a beautiful segue. It's a beautiful segue. Yeah, we got the lines for tonight's game. They are identical to last night's game, aside from your starting goaltender. So here we go. Left to right, forward groups are Donato, Bedard, Kurashev, Foligno, Dickinson, Blackwell, Reichel, Entwistle, Gutman, Kachuk, Cini, Reese Johnson, Jared Tenorti, Connor Murphy, Alex Vlasic, Jacob Megna, I had to think about it again, Kevin Korchinski, and Nikita Zaitsev, and Arvid Soderblom is in goal. So, I almost knocked down the
Careful
sign.
now.
Whoop. Almost
Don't
knocked
go-
the sign
don't
down.
go
We're
breaking
okay.
stuff.
Easy, bro.
Don't go breaking stuff.
So,
Gonna have to pay for that.
I mean, this feels like inevitable
you know how last
good
night
college
felt.
try. You lost 6-1.
You know how last night felt. It's gonna feel the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
no
it's an
expectations.
overmatched team. You're on night 2 of back-to-backs. The end of a road trip. Man, just all of the easy outs for this game to be a dick kicking, and I think it's the same lineup from last night, and it's gonna be that way for a while. Hopefully, Seth Jones is back soon. I think that's maybe a little bit encouraging. But again, as we discussed at length yesterday in both our pre and post games, there's not much help that's coming to this team that is going to make a significant difference for them where they are right now. And honestly, the direction of the team is to not try and get out of where they are right now. This is the spot that is best for the rebuild, is to be, where your lottery odds are the highest. And we're halfway through. What is this, game 40 tonight? Or 40 or 39? 39. All right, so we're just about at the midway point of the year. And this team is who they are. And they're not the team that was last year's team, where the losses came, but the efforts were there. But the system was there. The culture was building. This is a team that is just, I don't want to say going through the motions and that they're not trying and not caring, but it just kind of feels like this is a team that is just trying to get to game 82. There's no aspirations for anything beyond game 82.
Yeah, get out of this season without any major career-altering injuries.
Yes, major career-altering.
It's a shame that it's come to that, and
it stinks.
I don't know if I'm ready to say it's there just yet. I think this is a team that is very hurt, very, very hurt.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
If you get the guys back you're going to get back, and I'm leaving Athanasiou off that list, by the way. Until he's on the ice skating, I'm not even thinking about him returning.
We have no idea what his timeline is.
Yeah. But Jones and Radish and we all know the list of
Johnson
players.
Whoa.
Yes, Joey Anderson.
Or Anderson,
of course.
sorry.
All those guys. I'm not ready to just say it's completely mail it in for the next, 42 games, but like we started the show. Every game right now feels like an inevitable ass whooping, whether or not the effort's there or not.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of how bad is it going to be? How bad is the loss going to be? How long can they keep the game competitive? You said last night the goal was to not have anyone get hurt,
score more goals, and get guys hurt.
Yeah.
They accomplished it last night with one goal and nobody
and
injured.
no injuries.
So
and it's not that this team is devoid of joy and excitement. You have Conor Bard. That's wonderful. That's going to bring some joy and light, and that's really all that matters at this point.
Seeing Kevin Korchinski start shooting the puck would bring me some joy.
Yes, it would.
And, there are still...
There's lots of good reasons to keep watching.
There's still things that need to happen between now and the end of the year. It's not just okay, whatever, the season's over. You still want to see Bedard improve and develop. You still want to see improvement from the young players and let them get, more polished as we go forward, because those are the guys who are going to be the leaders next year when more young guys
Those
come.
are the guys that are important. Yep.
So when you have another crop of first-year NHL guys here next year, whether it's, Nazar or, Del Mastro or Allen or both make the team, then you can have guys like Bedard and Korchinski and Vlasic be like, all right, we were in your situation last year. Here's what we got to do. Here's when this happens, instead of doing this, do this. And that's not necessarily on the ice. Hey, you've never had to sign up for your own cell phone. Let me show you how to do that.
Exactly.
You've never learned how to turn on the gas.
Yeah, here's how to make grilled cheese.
Yeah, there's so many things that these guys have literally never done because they're still children and have never not lived either on a college campus or in a billet home.
Right.
These are things that having a guy your own age kind of be hey, no problem. This is how you do it. It'd go a long way.
There's lots of good comments going on here. So can you scroll up a little bit? There's a couple I wanted to get to. Toasty McGee says at this point, it kind of feels like they just want a solid place in the draft, mail it in. Look, even if they are fully healthy again, they're still going to be a bottom 3 finisher.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they compete, even if they play as hard as they can, even if they max out at this point, they're going to be a bottom 3 team in this league.
This team is picking no later than 5.
Yeah.
No shot.
Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily say. I mean, you would hope guys aren't mailing it in because there are guys that, as I mentioned, those young guys, but there are veteran guys that need to stay in the league.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
like guys like Colin Blackwell, Taylor Radish. You would hope when he comes back, you would hope those guys are playing hard because they're going to want to get a contract from somebody next season.
Look at the cap friendly page. There's like 13 guys that are on expiring deals. Like if it's not Chicago, it's in the NHL that you're looking to stay.
Right.
So yeah, I mean you'd hope that they at least that would be their motivator.
It's also it's a sport that is difficult to mail it in. You know what I mean? Like it's the game itself is fast. You're going out there competing. Mm-hmm. It's so quick reacting that your brain's not really like, eh.
And I think a true mail it in effort, people see it immediately.
Yeah.
It's very easy to tell when a hockey player is truly mailing it in.
Yeah.
And I don't believe this team is mailing it in, but I think it's very easy for that locker room to really have a challenge to get up the fire to go in and night out, knowing each team that they play is going to be favored.
So here's the question. Like, I've played on bad teams before in my sporting career. I'm sure we all have.
Same.
And as those games approach and you know you're not going to win, I don't think it changes the way you play the game. I think it just changes the way you think about the year. Right? Like, so I think guys like Foligno and Tyler Johnson when he's healthy and Radish when he's healthy and like those guys who have been in the league for a while, they look at it a different way. And look, Nick Foligno came to Chicago and so did Taylor Hall and so did Corey Perry, knowing this team was going to be bad. They were under no illusion that maybe, just maybe, we win the cup this year. Come on.
It wasn't the same
yeah.
way that Seth Jones got here.
Yes, there's a reason it took $4 million for them to agree to come and play here, right? Like that's a big part of why they agreed to the trades in the first place. So they know that this is about development. And here's why, as I'm changing kind of the way I watch the games now, is kind of like last year towards the end, who are the guys that matter? And what's encouraging to me is the guys that matter are doing well.
Most of them.
The concern is Reichel.
Yeah.
I think that's a big concern for everybody. Yeah. He's been a huge point of conversation all year. But as you pointed out very nicely last night, we were talking about Lafreniere, like it just takes some guys. Not everybody has the same trajectory. Even Jack Hughes took a couple of years to get going, and now he's like an otherworldly top 5, top 10 player in the league.
Yeah.
Right? Bedard seems to be getting it right away. Kane got it right away. Taves got it right away. Other guys take longer.
Keith and Seabrook took some extra years.
And I think part of the fact that it's magnified in Chicago because you have Kane and Taves arrive and are immediately great. That's when the fans arrive, when Kane and Taves are here. So they weren't here when it was Bambi on ice with Keith and Seabrook, and when Patrick Sharp was traded for, and everyone's like, "Who's Patrick Sharp?" Like this,
they came into a team that already had pieces to the puzzle put together.
And then the guys that did, Saad happened right away. Panarin happened right away. The only guy who took time to develop was Teuvo Teravainen. And about half of this fan base was like, Teuvo Teravainen sucks. He's a bust. He's never going to be a good player because he hasn't come to the league immediately and become great. He's typical. Teravainen is typical. And I think that's a guy we've talked about with Reichel a lot, is the Teuvo-Reichel comparison, where it just takes more time. And as we watch Korchinski and get frustrated with some of the things he does, the good stuff is still there, right? And Vlasic is good pretty quickly. Like, those guys that matter are developing well. Reichel's a concern, but I still have not given up any hope on him at all.
No.
And I think if Reichel was...
Not at all. Maybe a little.
Playing... if Reichel was playing most of this season like we saw that in that last stretch last year, I don't think this would feel so dismal.
No, not at all.
Because you would have another scoring option outside of Conor Bard.
If you had Bedard and Reichel hitting their expectations this year,
even with all these injuries, you'd still feel better.
Yeah, it would feel a lot better.
And that's important. That's an important storyline to keep watching over the second half of the season, as we're almost to the halfway. Is does Lucas Reichel finally get some consistent play going? We've seen flashes. He's looked better the last few games, but we're still not seeing that consistent offensive production, or at least threat of offensive production that we wanted to see. So there are still plenty of reasons to still they got to figure out when they come back home. Remember last year, before the creation of our favorite bit of Mackenzie Entwistle's family, while he was telling us about that, this was prior to the opening night game in Denver. He was telling us about, like, nobody's given us any chance this year. We want to prove everybody wrong.
Very chip on the shoulder.
We've
feeling.
never heard anything like that this year.
Foligno said it early in camp. He said this team's better than people think.
Okay.
But that was a fully healthy.
That was a fully healthy team that,
Fully,
you know.
And but we've never heard any kind of chip on the shoulder announcement. Find something.
Yeah.
Find something that motivates you as a group, whether it's, you know, whatever, beating a certain team, or, I don't know, for the hell of it, win a road game. Whatever the chip on your shoulder is, they need to find that as a group collectively. And, you know, a team that's motivated to accomplish something, even if it's the smallest goal possible.
Don't be last.
Sure. Like, make sure you go 3-0 against the Sharks. Whatever your chip is, find it, and find it fast, because a team that is playing for something, as opposed to just the typical, well, we're playing for each other in here. Okay.
A lot of these guys aren't going to be around for that much longer.
And that's another thing where it's like, you know, the whole thing about, well, they're going to play for that number 1 overall draft pick. Most of the people in this locker room don't give a crap about where the Hawks pick next year, because they won't be here.
Yeah, they won't play with Macklin
So
Celebrini.
maybe, you know, but that's probably part of the reason why, you know, outside of the Bolivier and, you know, the Jacob Megna superstar waiver wire pickup, I don't think
He's a point per game player.
Hey, yes, he is. You can't deny that. Facts are facts. That's probably a reason why Kyle Davidson isn't listening to our post game chat and just go out and get this guy, get this guy, get this guy, make this trade. He's probably like, well, I brought in some guys. I can't help it that they're all hurt. I'm not giving up any future asset to get in a guy here to get me 10 more points this year.
Which
There's
is
no. The
Which is
only
the
guy
right
who's
thing
gonna
to
give you
do.
10 points is Connor McDavid.
There's no point to bring in a guy, give up future assets to bring in a guy who will help you finish 31st instead of 32nd. It's pointless.
There's no point in giving up anything to try and resurrect or you know, save this season
if
at all.
something comes-
if there's someone on the
something makes
waiver
sense,
wire, if there's a free agent out there who loves hot dogs in America, you bring him in for nothing. But that doesn't seem to be the place or the path that Kyle Davidson's going to go down all that much. And yeah, some of these guys that are hurt are going to come back. So you don't want to just jam pack the roster with new people and then be like, shit, now we got way too many people. Like, you know, you have to bank that some guys are going to come back and whatnot. But yeah, I agree. They have to find something, some sort of tangible thing to like work towards, rather than
find a quote
let's just
somebody
end the
said,
season.
or find somebody.
Maybe we need to
saying-
start saying some shit about the team. Stir it up.
Yeah.
Get them going. Let's give them some new segment.
Bunch of ball sacks.
Bulletin board material.
Yeah.
We get 60 seconds on the clock to shit talk the team.
We need to send him the chat.
And sure, we'll just give them transcripts.
Yeah. Then we look good.
Man, if
we won't get
Lucas-
punched in the face.
If Lucas Reichel read the chat, he'd be very motivated right now.
Yeah, he'd be selling cars at Ray Chevy right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. But I don't know what that is, though. Like, let's find the motivation of, maybe it is just don't finish last.
Or something like,
Win
you
a
know,
period. Let's
hey,
outshoot a team.
People are starting to badmouth Luke Richardson. Let's prove them wrong. Let's do it for our coach, who's taking bullet after bullet
That's a
after
good
bullet
point.
for us.
And I'm so glad on our New Year's Eve show, as I was a little bit frustrated with the game, and you said, is Luke Richardson flipping over a table going to make these guys better hockey? And the answer is no. And you sort of taught me off the ledge a little bit, Greg. And there's
seem
a
to
lot
do
of
that
folks,
a lot around here.
It's okay. There's a lot of people in the chat that
And then
are.
you diss me with the hat turn.
Yeah. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I apologize. Non-bros wear hats too. I'm wearing a hat right now. Anyway, there are some people saying in the chat like Luke has lost a team, and it's the usual suspects in the chat, but I've seen it on social media too. Like, it's just, let's calm down. I was listening to 32 Thoughts today, and just a kind of a little throwaway line from Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick where they're saying like they remember talking to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins at the preseason media tour like 2 years ago, and he said, all we want in Edmonton is some continuity with a coach. It's a new coach every other year.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating and it sucks. And we just want to get on board with somebody. Not every coach has to be Scotty Bowman. You know, and we got to remember too that Luke is also learning on the job. So he's also afforded the luxury of saying like, all right, you know what? I'm in a bit of a crisis right now. How am I going to solve this problem? And whatever he tries this year might not work. Mm-hmm. So lesson learned, and back to the drawing board next year, right?
Yeah,
like
clearly this year's team is not responding like last year's team did.
Right.
So you got to get creative.
It's a different group.
Well, kind of.
I mean,
Some of the same guys are around, but
you know, I and that makes sense too. And with the whole Richardson stuff, I'm not going to start to like declare if he's right or wrong for this until he has a team that has expectations attached to it,
right,
and doesn't meet those expectations.
Expectations from the organization,
right?
Yes.
Like you could look what's going on in Detroit. They had to get rid of Blashill to bring in the guy from Minions,
Derek Lalonde.
Yeah. And how's that working out for them? Not good. They're not a playoff team right now.
No.
And that's a team that had playoff expectations from ownership. You do not go and trade for Alex DeBrincat and then sign Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
That's a sign from ownership that you guys are supposed to be better than this.
You got to get it done. And you got Larkin and you got Sider. And
so when the Blackhawks have a team like that and make moves like that and Luke Richardson can't get them to perform, then I'll start pounding the podium about this guy's not the right job.
That's when the seat actually gets warm.
Right.
If you're going by points, the Red Wings are 1 point out of a wild card spot. However,
where were they when they signed?
They have to leapfrog 4 teams, and they have games in hand on 3 of them. So, like,
what is it?
At least 2 games in hand.
Yeah.
So, but it's funny.
And they have a losing record since Patrick Kane joined the team.
There's such a disconnect. Like, you look at the Red Wings social media, and like, another win. You've won 4 of your last 10. Many came in overtime or shootouts. Like,
right.
I don't know if they're just mesmerized by how good Kane has been for them.
I mean that's been great for them, but that's been the selling point. Yeah,
it hasn't
because
resulted
you're
in
selling
anything.
a losing record right now with Patrick Kane playing really well. So that's not great.
Yeah, I just look like we got to just not every.
You said the Red Wings are now 1 point out of a wild card spot.
Yeah. If we're going by points.
By points.
They have 42.
The day Patrick Kane made his debut,
December 9th?
December 7th. They were in a playoff spot by 3 points.
Okay. And there you go.
So there's a coach that a lot of people should be questioning. Not
right.
Luke Richardson having to play an AHL team in the NHL every night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is impossible to judge what Richardson's doing this year. And like he said it yesterday that he gets mesmerized by their injury board. It is so bad. It's so bad.
It's significant players to this team that are gone. It's not like no offense. It's not, Reese Johnson has been hurt or Boris Kachuk's been hurt. No, it's Seth Jones. It's Taylor Hall for the year. It's Corey Perry being dismissed from the team. Like, it's guys that you are expected to count on to make significant impacts to this team that are gone for significant amounts of time. So, you talk about next man up, but that only goes so far. When your stopgaps are, again, no offense, Jacob Megna and Brett Seney and bringing in Cole Gutman, like, there's only so much that those guys can do to help you. And I think, you just are trying to patch together something that is really depleted in this roster. And I don't know. It's go out and get them tonight. That's the best that you can hope for. And yeah, until the injuries subside and these guys come back, that's really all you can expect out of this team.
Yeah. Philip says Luke has no emotion behind the bench.
That's not true.
He's got to be Ditka. If this guy was more like Ditka, they'd get some wins. He's got to punch some players.
That's not true.
Throw some stuff on the ice.
Again,
MF the refs.
Let him get mad when an official call costs him an overtime game in a playoff game.
Right.
What's getting mad behind the bench going to accomplish?
He's got to grab his nuts more. That's how he's going to get.
He should grow a mustache.
That's how he's going to get the city behind him.
He needs the mustache. The mustache means you win in this city.
Tom Landry, one of the greatest coaches in NFL history.
No mustache.
Real hothead.
You couldn't see because he was always wearing.
Scotty Bowman always just pissed behind the bench constantly.
Yeah.
We got a $2 super chat from Ralph. Says, have you addressed the Elias Pettersson to Chicago rumor? We did it yesterday on Bro Chat.
I hope that's sarcasm.
It probably is because it was pretty much off
check
the
out
top.
check out the TikToks and search.
Could you imagine?
Search bro.
Search
bro.
We're not doing this
Could
again.
you
Yes, we are.
imagine?
Every
Steven, imagine it. Connor
Imagine it,
Bedard
Could you
and Elias
imagine-
Pettersson.
Bro.
Oh, wait, hold on.
I don't wear a
Could you-
hat.
could
I
you
don't wear
imagine-
backwards.
Back on.
I'm not
Could
doing
you
it.
imagine? Oh,
Bro.
dude. Seriously?
God, there's
Sick.
three of
You know
them
it's
now.
serious.
Be
when
so
all three of
sick.
us-
That'd be sick.
Could you imagine
Those two for the next 10 years?
Gave out our Who's Your Hawks picks right now.
Oh, sick.
How long is Luke?
It's over 5 minutes.
We don't have time.
We don't have
All
time.
right.
We don't have
Puck's
time.
He
dropping.
said,
The game's
here's what Luke
starting in
said.
5 minutes.
Paraphrasing, shit.
Here's what Luke said.
Ah, fuck.
What the fuck do you want from me?
This guy's looking this way. He's looking this way. What do you want from me?
This guy's over here going, what do you want from me?
Yeah, exactly. All right. Who's your Hawk? Who did I take? I forget. I took Nick Foligno. Why? Why not?
Why not?
He's a guy.
Go
He has
for
a
it.
stick.
Yeah. Stick.
Probably several.
Yeah, you'd hope.
Yeah. That's my pick.
Greg.
Good pick. I took Conor Bard because I picked first.
It's a good
pick. He's due. He's only got 1 point on this road trip. He's due for a big game.
That's all-star Conor Bedard to you. I picked Lucas Reichel because why not?
Ooh,
He's on the ice.
the Mario Magic might just be what Luke
You have the
what
most
Lucas
wins,
needs.
and
I
you're
do.
picking Lucas Reichel.
I don't know how many times I've won picking Reichel, but
I don't know. You won picking Cole Gutman and Jacob
Megna.
Megna
Yeah.
in back-to-back games.
The Megna man.
You're on something here.
we'll see.
Yeah, we're all on something here, aren't we? All right, we're going to wrap up.
enough.
We're back after the game ends. Bro, we'll talk to you bros
Bro.
after the game.
Bro,
Want to remind you we're
sick.
powered by
Sweet.
ComEd. It's getting easier for your business to switch to electric vehicles.
Sure is, bro.
Learn more at comed.com/queen.
Grid
Talk to you after
Ferda.
Hawks and Devils on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.